In today's video, we're unraveling the truth behind a recent change in Navy operations that has left many perplexed. What really led the Navy to halt all deck jumping, a practice once considered a hallmark of naval bravery and camaraderie? We'll be diving deep into the multiple factors that influence this decision, revealing insights that you might not have heard before. Number 1. Historical significance of deck jumping. Deck jumping has deep historical roots in naval tradition, particularly within the U.S. Navy. It began as a practice among sailors to demonstrate bravery and endurance in a challenging environment. Originally, it was part of the crossing the line ceremony, a naval rite of passage dating back to the age of sail, where sailors would leap off the ship's deck into the sea and swim around as a test of courage and to celebrate a milestone. Over time, this activity evolved beyond ceremonial purposes, becoming a popular recreational activity among sailors during periods of calm at sea or downtime between missions. The significance of deck jumping was multifaceted. It fostered a sense of unity and brotherhood among crew members, helping to build morale during long, arduous deployments. The activity provided a physical outlet that was both exhilarating and a means to break the monotony of life at sea. For many sailors, deck jumping was also seen as a rite of passage, reinforcing their identity as naval warriors unafraid of taking risks in the face of danger. Moreover, deck jumping served as an informal method of conditioning. Regular physical activities, including jumping from the ship's deck, were thought to keep sailors agile and prepared for unexpected emergencies, such as man-overboard situations. The act itself was a combination of physical courage and trust in one's fellow sailors, who often had to assist with safely retrieving anyone who miscalculated the jump or got into trouble in the water. Over the decades, deck jumping also became a symbol of the Navy's rugged, adventurous spirit, depicted in various naval literature, stories, and even training films. This portrayal contributed to its mythos, emphasizing the fearless nature of sailors and the tight-knit familial bonds formed in the Navy. It wasn't just about the jump, it was about what the jump represented: a collective courage, a shared experience, and a tradition passed down through generations. Despite its decline in modern times due to increased safety concerns and evolving military protocols, the historical significance of deck jumping remains an important part of naval heritage. It reflects a time when sailors' training and traditions were as much about character and camaraderie as they were about discipline and duty. This tradition, though largely phased out, still resonates with many former sailors who recall it as a key part of their service experience, a testament to the bold and daring culture that defined their time in the Navy. Number 2, the rise of safety protocols and modernization. The rise of safety protocols and modernization in the Navy significantly changed how operations are conducted, including the cessation of risky activities like deck jumping. This shift began with an increased focus on risk management and minimizing preventable accidents, driven by both technological advancements and changes in military standards. In the early 2000s, the Navy introduced comprehensive risk assessment programs that mandated every activity, including training and recreational practices, be evaluated for potential hazards. These assessments were part of a broader initiative known as the Operational Risk Management (ORM) framework, which sought to integrate risk management into every aspect of naval operations. As part of modernization efforts, the Navy implemented advanced training simulators that replaced dangerous real-life practices with virtual reality scenarios. These simulators allowed sailors to experience realistic situations in a controlled, safe environment, significantly reducing the need for physical, high-risk activities like deck jumping. Furthermore, the adoption of advanced safety equipment and technologies, such as improved personal protective gear and automated monitoring systems, reduced the risks associated with everyday naval tasks. The Navy's approach to safety also evolved due to external pressures. Regulatory bodies, including OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health Administration, began enforcing stricter safety standards on all military branches, including the Navy. These regulations required detailed documentation of safety practices and incident responses, leading to more stringent oversight and the phasing out of activities deemed unnecessarily risky. Additionally, internal Navy studies showed that accidents, even during non-combat activities, could lead to significant operational disruptions and financial costs. prompting further restrictions on potentially hazardous practices. Number 3. Legal and liability concerns. Legal and liability concerns became a significant factor for the Navy in reconsidering its stance on activities like deck jumping. As the legal landscape evolved, the Navy faced increasing pressure to minimize the potential for non-combat-related injuries that could lead to substantial legal repercussions. This shift was driven by several high-profile lawsuits where families of injured sailors pursued compensation for injuries that occurred during such activities. These cases often resulted in settlements that not only had financial implications, but also affected the Navy's public image and internal protocols. The growing emphasis on legal accountability made the Navy more vigilant about its practices. The changes in military law, particularly those related to the Federal Tort Claims Act, FTCA, and the Military Claims Act, MCA, allowed service members or their families to seek compensation for non-combat injuries more effectively. This was a marked departure from the traditional view that military personnel could not sue the government for injuries incurred during service. As these legal avenues expanded, the Navy recognized that maintaining high-risk activities like deck jumping could expose them to continuous legal battles, impacting both resources and morale. Furthermore, the Navy's internal legal departments began conducting rigorous reviews of all non-essential activities to identify those that could pose potential legal risks. This proactive approach aimed to protect the Navy from lawsuits that could arise from perceived negligence. As a result, deck jumping, along with other traditional but risky practices, was scrutinized heavily under this new risk-averse legal framework. This led to a comprehensive overhaul of Navy policies to align with a more cautious, legally sound operational environment, ensuring that all activities could be justified not only on safety grounds, but also in terms of minimizing liability. Number 4. Psychological and physical health considerations. Psychological and physical health considerations played a crucial role in the Navy's decision to stop deck jumping, reflecting a broader awareness of mental and physical well-being among service members. The repetitive nature of high-risk activities like deck jumping has been shown to contribute to chronic stress and anxiety among sailors. Continuous exposure to high-stress environments without adequate recovery time can lead to burnout, reduced cognitive function, and impaired decision-making, which are detrimental in high-stakes naval operations. Physically, deck jumping posed a significant risk of injuries, including musculoskeletal injuries, concussions, and traumatic brain injuries, TBIs. Repeated impact from jumps, especially on hard surfaces or when landing awkwardly, could result in long-term damage to joints and bones. In some cases, these injuries were not immediately apparent but developed over time, leading to chronic pain and mobility issues, impacting a sailor's ability to perform their duties effectively. The Navy also recognized the impact of such injuries on career longevity and post-service quality of life. Long-term health issues stemming from repetitive strain injuries and trauma could lead to early retirement, increased medical costs, and long-term disability benefits, affecting both the individual's and the Navy's operational readiness. Additionally, the cultural shift towards prioritizing mental health awareness within the military highlighted the need to reduce activities that could exacerbate anxiety, depression, or PTSD symptoms. By eliminating unnecessary high-risk practices, the Navy aimed to foster a more supportive environment where sailors could maintain their physical health and mental resilience, ensuring they are fully prepared for the demands of naval service. Number 5. Changes in training and preparation methods. The Navy has dramatically transformed its training and preparation methods over the past decade, emphasizing safety, efficiency, and advanced technology. One of the key changes is the integration of virtual reality, VR, and augmented reality, AR, into training programs. These technologies allow sailors to simulate complex, high-risk scenarios in a controlled environment, reducing the need for physically dangerous drills like deck jumping. VR and AR simulations provide a realistic, immersive experience that can replicate everything from emergency procedures to combat scenarios, allowing for more frequent and safer practice without the risk of injury. Additionally, the Navy has adopted more comprehensive physiological and psychological training programs that focus on building resilience and cognitive skills. This shift acknowledges that modern naval operations require not just physical strength, but also mental acuity and emotional stability. Training now includes modules on stress management, decision-making under pressure, and teamwork, ensuring that sailors are prepared for the complexities of real-world missions. Furthermore, there has been a significant move towards using data analytics to enhance training outcomes. By collecting and analyzing data from training exercises, the Navy can tailor programs to address specific weaknesses and improve overall effectiveness. This data-driven approach allows for continuous improvement in training methods, ensuring that sailors are always operating at peak performance. The Navy has also prioritized cross-disciplinary training, where sailors are trained in multiple areas of expertise, making them more versatile and adaptable. This approach not only improves individual readiness but also enhances unit cohesion and operational flexibility, as sailors are better prepared to take on diverse roles during missions. Number 6. Media influence and public perception. Media influence and public perception have played a critical role in shaping Navy policies, particularly concerning high-risk activities like deck jumping. The media often amplifies incidents involving injuries or accidents, bringing them to the forefront of public consciousness. This increased visibility puts pressure on the Navy to respond swiftly and transparently, as failure to do so could result in negative media coverage that tarnishes its reputation. The rise of social media has also intensified this scrutiny, with videos and images of accidents quickly going viral, leading to widespread public outcry and demands for accountability. Public perception is heavily influenced by how the media portrays the Navy's commitment to safety and the well-being of its personnel. Investigative reports and documentaries that focus on accidents and unsafe practices within the military can lead to a significant shift in public opinion, prompting calls for policy changes and reforms. For instance, when news outlets highlight preventable injuries or fatalities, it not only impacts public trust but also forces the Navy to reconsider and often eliminate activities deemed non-essential or excessively hazardous. Additionally, the media serves as a watchdog, holding the Navy accountable for its actions and ensuring transparency in its decision-making processes. This scrutiny often results in policy shifts aimed at preserving the Navy's public image and maintaining its recruitment efforts, as potential recruits and their families increasingly weigh the risks associated with military service. Number 7. Strategic and operational shifts in naval doctrine. Strategic and operational shifts in naval doctrine have increasingly focused on adapting to new threats and technological advancements, fundamentally altering how the Navy conducts its missions. Recent years have seen a pivot toward more flexible, multi-domain operations, where naval forces are integrated with air, space, cyber, and land assets to achieve strategic objectives. This approach requires a departure from traditional singular domain tactics and embraces a network strategy that leverages real-time data and intelligence to outmaneuver adversaries. The Navy has also shifted towards a distributed lethality concept, which disperses combat capabilities across a wider range of platforms, enhancing survivability and operational unpredictability. This strategy reduces the reliance on large, concentrated fleets, which are more vulnerable to modern missile and cyber threats. Instead, a combination of smaller, agile vessels equipped with advanced missile systems and unmanned vehicles allows the Navy to operate more effectively in contested environments. Another significant shift is the focus on sustainability and endurance in operations. Naval doctrine now emphasizes long-term presence and readiness, with an increased investment in logistic support vessels and forward-deployed bases. This change ensures that naval forces can maintain prolonged operations without the constant need to return to port, enhancing their ability to project power globally. The integration of artificial intelligence and machine learning into naval operations is another strategic shift, optimizing decision-making processes and enhancing the capabilities of autonomous systems. This technological evolution allows the Navy to conduct more precise and efficient operations, adapting quickly to changing battlefield conditions and ensuring a competitive edge over potential adversaries.